What's up, guys? It's me, Nikibrah. Today I'm here with Jameel. He's a dear client of mine for over 1.5 years. And in this Hall of Fame Nikibrah series, I'm going to talk to clients and about their experience and how everything changed in their life so you can hear it firsthand. And this should motivate you also to do the steps so you can see what kind of impact it had on people's lives. So, Jamil, please introduce yourself and we get going with this interview.
Great, Nikki. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, mate. My name is Jameel. I'm based in Australia. I'm 30 years old. By day, I work for a large technology company here in Australia. We're a leading technology company. And by night, I am a stand-up comedian. And I'm also working on my own business that's been based in stand-up comedy as well. All of which I would say is attributed to what I've done with Nikki and the coaching and the increased performance I've had from a mental and physical perspective.
So I'm going to show your transformation video on the screen so people can see how it all started out 1.5 years ago. And today's main topic I want to talk about is the impact it had on your life. Because yes, people can see, for example, the physical change, how you basically got shredded, but
Mm,
people cannot see from pictures what kind of impact a transformation has on people's lives. Because I mean, if you look better already, then people will react differently to you. They will see you from a different perspective. They will, let's say, respect you more. Um, Even girls will be more attracted to you, for example. I mean, everything changes just
mm,
because of your outward appearance changes.
mm.
So, for example, for stand-up comedy, I believe um, it should have had an impact because stand-up comedy, you're standing right in front of people. Also, for example, you're getting higher performance rates, so you have better energy, you have better mood. So let's talk about this. Did it have an impact, let's say, on your overall work, let's say in tech company or stand-up comedy, which I believe you're doing like as a hobby or as a side hustle?
Yeah, sure. Look, no, absolutely. The physical and mental benefits have absolutely transformed my life without a doubt. So, we started together March last year, March 2020, just at the start of the lockdowns and the global pandemic. And since then, from a professional perspective, I've had I would say I've had 1.5 promotions, I would say, since then. And that's what I would attribute to, a significant improvement in my mental capacity and physical performance. Now, a lot of that is actually mental because having a higher state of mind, having high performance attributed to good diet, good exercise, good mental clarity definitely improves your ability to make better decisions. So part of my role is I do technology consulting. So I actually deal with about anywhere from 20 to 50 medium to large organizations that are domestic and global within Australia and consult with them about the latest in technology solutions for business and enterprise. And that's not simple stuff. That is emerging technologies. I have to deal with a lot of C-level executives. I have to do things like consult. I have to do sales. I also have to do presentations. And all of these things have physical and mental impacts. And certainly from having increased mental and physical performance as a result of that, my performance has been notable. I've achieved way more than I ever thought I would in as far as promotions, as far as opportunities that have come as a result of looking and feeling different and definitely presenting different to my customers and my colleagues. And I would say, almost tripled my income as a result of what I've done with Nikita and his coaching. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I've actually had, individual projects and individual jobs provided to me as a result of this constant mental and physical performance because they see the confidence, they see the difference in a man that is physically, there. It lines up with his integrity and the way he talks. and the way that he produces himself and the way he presents himself, that is confidence. You actually mentioned in one of your other videos, Nikki, about the difference between, a high testosterone male versus a non-testosterone male. That very much applies to me and how I work and operate, because I'm in a competitive environment when it comes to technology. So, my competitors who can be not as, physically presentable, or is not well put together, or is not complete in their offer or the way they communicate their deals, it makes a substantial difference. And over time, that has definitely led to better sales, better numbers. It's just, we're in a sales and numbers operated industry. And the performance has been immense. From a stand-up comedy perspective, certainly having a lot more physical confidence on stage has changed. Now, unfortunately, comedy hasn't been so prevalent because of lockdowns here in Australia. Right now, I'm in lockdown number 4. So we've been working together since March 1st, and 9 months. And of those 15 months, I've been locked down for about 9 of them now. So unfortunately, comedy has taken a bit of a hit, but when it does come back, I've certainly noticed the change in the way that I communicate, my confidence on stage, and I have a different perspective as well, because I used to do jokes that might be self-depreciating, talking about the way I used to look. I used to have a much heavier face, used to have a much heavier physique. But a lot of that stuff just doesn't work anymore, because you're like, what are you talking about? You can't talk yourself down. You look great. There's some significant changes that have come a result of that. The mental is really the big difference. Yes, it's good to look good. It's good to look strong and healthy and confident, but there is certainly this mental perspective of clarity, of self-confidence, of, aligning your own integrity, that people won't recognize, and they won't see that in the photos as part of the progress they have with your coaching. And that's what you show, really, from what you talk about when you talk about all of your 5-star reviews and all of these screenshots you put up on Instagram about all the ways you've changed people's lives. That's the mental output, is the gratitude these people show you and what you do because of the way they feel, not just about the way they look as well. And I can certainly attribute myself to that as well.
Yes, because people always see transformation pictures before and after, but they cannot see the impact it had on people's lives. That's why we're doing this Hall of Fame series, because so people see what kind of people I work with, and so they see the impact. And what's impressive is that, yes, you were during lockdown, but you have been basically juggling tech work, um, the comedy, and your own endeavors, basically. And so everything was super progressive in the last 15 months. So there was no way out but to do progress, basically. And well, imagine like you're getting a higher position in your technology company, because, well, the boss sees this guy, he needs to take more responsibility now, and we need confident guys who can make confident and precise decisions. We can have guys on higher positions who have mood swings, who have low energy, low confidence. We need guys who are progressive, who are there, who are we can say, okay, this guy is reliable. He's confident in his decisions. This is why people get higher salaries and higher positions. So this also applied to you, basically. And what's impressive, that you juggled 3 things at the same time. So this is very, very impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Look, you're absolutely right. I think the missing component is that leadership and perspective, right? In a lockdown, people are very uncertain. They don't know what's happening next. They're following the guidance of, the government and what needs to happen in this pandemic, and sure, it's the right thing to do. But what happens is you might get locked down physically, but you get locked down mentally, because people think, oh, I'm in these 4 walls, I'm in this house every day. What can I do? Here in Australia, in the worst of lockdowns, we were only allowed outside for an hour per day to get exercise, or to have mandatory trips to the shopping center to get food. So it was very, very restrictive. But that also becomes a personal perspective as well, right? It's about, okay, you've got all these things that are affecting you. it forces you to be creative. It forces you to go, well, what can you do in this situation? Are you going to let yourself be a victim to this, or are you going to overcome it? Right. And that's an individual perspective. Personally, I've always been a person that thrives under pressure. That's why I do so many things at once. And I don't like the situation to get the better of me. So that's why it felt like even more of a challenge and even more satisfying that I could make this transformation during lockdown. And then, hopefully you'll see in the photos and the videos that provided you, Nikki, that you had to make do. I had to exercise 1 hour per day outside. I had to get equipment and improvise because people were buying equipment and there was nothing in the markets, nothing in the shops, nothing online. So I had to improvise with rusty plates and things I could get off friends and family. So, there's a lot of guidance that comes through within myself. And then that confidence does, like you said, lead into better decision making and that guidance for people that are looking for answers in a really tough time, such as a global pandemic. And, having that confidence within myself to go, okay, I'm dealing with this pretty well compared to others. That gives me the confidence to move forward and make decisions and give new perspectives that others might not have because they are feeling trapped within their own minds and within the four walls of being locked down as well.
Yes, let's talk about lockdown mindset, because lots of people have the objection that they say, "Oh, it's not worth it. Gyms are closed, and I can't do proper progress anymore." And well, I will start working out and taking everything seriously when gyms open and when lockdown is over. So, what can you say about this? Because, like you said, out of 15 months of coaching, like 9 months of lockdown and still amazing world-class progress. I mean, what can you tell these people? They say, oh, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do any progress. And what can you say to these people?
Bullshit is what I can say. Um, it's about what can you do? What can you do in this situation? My perspective on lockdown was different to a lot of people. Was that, and I've told this to a lot of my friends as well, is that lockdown is an opportunity that you may never get again, right? The entire world has slowed down. So you have removed all of the external stimuli, all the distractions that you've got from your outside world, all of the things you think you should be doing outside, going to see, socializing, and that's all fun too. Socializing, going out, drinking, partying, all these small things that do get in the way of your physical and mental progress because you're not focusing on yourself. Lockdown is an opportunity to look within. It's about analyzing yourself, really taking stock of who you are physically, who you are mentally, any of those, mental barriers or on any of these excuses that you make for yourself. You have no choice but to look within, right? You can get distracted with Netflix and games and things like that, but again, you're just wasting your time. This is a great way to cocoon in and really take advantage of this situation where you're not forced to be outside. You don't feel the pressure to be in the outside world. And that's what I really took it for. And I told a lot of my friends about that as well. And they've thrived as a result of lockdown because the work you do now is just building up to when things open up. And you will literally, no pun intended, be ahead of the curve because you've done all this work and it will pay off in some way or form. And you've gotten ahead of everyone that has slowed down and done nothing for themselves, right? You have really taken advantage of a time where people have taken a step back, but you can take 2, 3, 4 steps forward just by looking after yourself, right? You might not, you no matter what happens, you still got to eat your food. You still control what you put inside your body every single day. And that's what I did. I cooked 3 home-cooked meals every day. And as a single man, that's pretty unheard of, right? Making sure my macros were airtight because I could only go to the supermarket. So, sure, I could go and get Uber Eats or whatever it is, but why not just take this time to really nail what's ahead of you? Really minimize those distractions, those things like social calories. I don't understand why people are drinking, during lockdown, for more than a social reason, right? And I understand that might be to take away the pain of the uncertainty, but if you can redirect that uncertainty into certainty, into the things that you can do every day, choose the food you eat, choose when you exercise, you know, get the right advice from Nikita about what you should be doing in this circumstance. Because, you know, one of the things that Nikita has that a lot of people don't is perspective from a global perspective, because you've got clients, what, all over the planet, right?
Yeah.
So it's really all about what can you do? And are you the kind of person that is going to allow a situation to get the better of you? Because if you are that kind of person, then that's really a more of an indication of how you operate most of your life. You know, this is really a judgment of character and a test of character and your individuality if you let this situation get the better of you. And if you're sitting there inside yourself going, there is something better here than what I've got now, that's the exact same thing that you would have planted a seed in when you came and reached out to Nikita, or I'm coming to this video now to go, there is something better I should be doing for myself. What is that? And you're searching and you're going around and you found this video, right? And that leads itself into the same thing you could do during a lockdown. It is, there is something that can be done here. What can I do to focus on myself to make the most of this situation? How am I going to make this positive for myself? And if you've got that idea and that perspective, you know, that's all you need. You just need to have a belief in better for yourself. And then, you know, find the guidance. Reach out to Nikki, reach out to, you know, whoever you can to help you get better.
You obviously already have the right lockdown mindset installed because I have been constantly pushing all my guys because, like you said, you got to get ahead of the curve. Like I always say and said is you need to get in pole position while the others, they just chill and are
100%.
unmotivated. It's like now is the time you can get ahead of the competition because everyone is chilling, everyone is kind of forced to adjust. This is the
Mm,
time where you can get into pole position. So now, as things
100%.
open up slowly, clients go back to gyms, and people are like, "What the hell happened to you? Like gyms were closed, but
That
where
happened to me.
go?" People are
Yeah.
actually very surprised that it's possible to make such great, well, progress even during lockdown. And well,
Mm,
the motto now, as gyms for some people gyms opening now, if it's possible to do progress in lockdown just like this, um, what can we do when gyms are open, when everything normalizes? Now this will get very interesting
mm.
now. So obviously with the gym open, obviously when everything normalizes, it's still easier obviously to do progress, but if we can
Way
do
easier.
during lockdown, what can we do when gyms open, right? So
Yeah.
people have
Yeah.
to understand that all you have to do is smart decision making. And well, I'm always there for clients with a question flat rate. If there was like a question from you, what should I do now? Lockdown happens. I'm always there to say, okay, this is how we do. This is how we get into pole position. And
Mm.
I think this is also very crucial to have someone by your side who can say, okay, this you have to do now, and I'm seeing this in other countries and it's no problem. You will make this as well. It will be pretty easy. Just do this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I've got
Uh,
this. I've got this phrase. I call it sharpening the axe. There's a great saying. I forget who it belongs to, but there's a great. It's you know, if you gave me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 5 hours sharpening my axe. And the idea is planning, it's understanding your approach, it's understanding what the details are of how you're going to achieve what you need to. And then by planning and getting ahead, the execution becomes easier, right? You know, one of the great things that I would say, you know, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would say to people who are picking up your coaching personally is shut your mind up, because what they're going to do is they're going to question you over and over, like, what is this guy doing? What does he mean by this? It's, you know, just follow the plan. Just quieten your mind and follow the plan, because that's all I did really, was just trusted you and just listen to what you put in front of me, and that was it, and just applied it over and over again.
yeah, there were so many people that came from you to my coaching because they probably said, what the hell is happening to Jameel? I want the same. So there were so many people. I
Yeah.
also thank you for this because, well, they probably said Jameel is like he was in a hyperbolic time chamber, so I want the same. And he's getting pay raises. He has his own startup. He's doing stand-up comedy. He has such great energy levels, and he became so confident. And I want the same. So many people also came through you directly when they saw what happened to you, basically. So it's also very
Mm.
nice and very uh, motivating to keep going at 100% because even you have a great impact on people now because of your transformation. And we all
Oh
have
yeah.
to put in perspective, it was all during lockdown, basically. So it's really crazy. And I'm very proud of you, how you executed and, well, what kind of results we achieved here because this is really world class considering
Mm.
lockdown, considering you're juggling, you're working in a tech company, you have your startup, you're doing stand-up comedy, so you're juggling everything and you're managing everything is really impressive.
Thank
Really.
you, man. Like, yeah, it's I really appreciate it. And look, I really appreciate you. Hence why I'm doing this, without question. And you're right. Once that's another great positive is that I've noticed my perspective change through this transformation from a mental perspective. When I go, you're thinking negatively, you're thinking about all the risks, you think about the what ifs and the things that can go wrong. But as your performance increases, as your mental clarity sharpens, and you see these successes build and build and build, you actually go, your mind should change. It goes to what can go right. What can happen? What's the success of this? What is the value in this? What is the opportunity? And you're very right. I've had a lot of people reach out to me as a result of the transformation going, hey, how do I get involved with this? Or, what else can I keep doing? And it's very positive. Once you get into this healthy mental and physical state, you don't think about yourself as much. Yes, you want to focus on being at 100% all the time, but you're actually thinking about other people and growth and opportunity and helping others and impacting others. And I'm sure, that's probably what drives you as much as it drives me. And I feel that on a daily basis as well.
One topic I want to talk about as well is like a testosterone upward cycle because for testosterone,
Mm.
like a small explanation, you need good building blocks. So nutrition has to be right. You need good lifestyle choices, so training, but also a mindset thing is also very important for testosterone and overall balanced hormonal production. So, uh,
Mm.
what will be very interesting now for people when they understand what happened to you is that um, as you took up great nutrition, I told you what to do. We had great training. Um, but as confidence grew and you got your, let's say, higher positions in your job, you were forced to take more responsibility. You were forced to, like from life, you were forced
Mm.
to be more confident, and it's like an upward cycle. So you're more confident, you have to take more responsibility, and only this change in your environment can also kind of raise testosterone and hormonal levels, which will kind of have an impact on training or nutrition again. So it's like an upward cycle, like it's a
Mm.
whole synergy that happens. So one hand
Yeah.
helps the
Yeah.
other, basically. So can you confirm it that, let's say, um, training and nutrition has an impact on life? Let's say you get higher positions, but also the higher positions give you kind of a new feeling or a new level of life quality, let's say, like even mentally. So you think differently, you move differently, you
Oh,
behave
yeah.
differently.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely 100%. So, you know, testosterone it's a masculine hormone, and the inherent part of being masculine is to be responsible, is to be driven, is to be the provider, right? So yes, I pile these things onto my daily life, and as testosterone, I'm sure that has a lot of effect to do that, because that is masculinizing me. Having this good testosterone in my system. You'll see from the older photos, I was overweight and obese most of my life. So, very high estrogen, wasn't really looking after myself physically at all. So, yeah, as you do get testosterone into your system, as the blood's pumping, as the muscles grow bigger and you work harder, You just want to maintain momentum, and you welcome that responsibility, and you welcome the challenges ahead, and you think about what's next, and you build your leadership capabilities, and it builds that drive. And you're absolutely right. It's an upward cycle, right? But there's also an aspect of, mental capability. And, yes, there's a physical aspect, but something that might be untouched is also about looking after your own mental health. But that's an entirely different conversation, right? But certainly there is an aspect of looking after your mental health where the physical performance and nutrition certainly has a major contribution to that, right? If you're full of testosterone, if you're minimizing your cortisol and minimizing your stress hormones, then you're going to feel stronger, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to get better, and you are going to keep being driven to bigger and better things. That's why I have a startup, because I'm full of confidence and strength in myself physically and mentally, that I can take on the unknown. That's why I can lead and do things during a pandemic and not be afraid of what is happening next and the outside world, because physically, mentally, I'm extremely strong and I feel extremely secure in what I can do for myself to provide not just myself, but the people around me as well.
Yeah, I mean, people should see you like 15 months ago, that your confidence level were not like now. So after 15 months, it's just like a new complete human being. And so if girls are watching from Australia, hit up Jameel, he is single. I mean, we have to say the probability even now is way higher for you to get like a girl than, let's say, 15 months ago, because the girl will see, even from outward appearance, this guy, he's driven, he's confident, startup, big position, he's training, stand-up comedy, he's moving on, progressive. But like 15 months ago, he's puffy and maybe not
Not
confident.
a chance.
Uh,
Not a
maybe
chance.
it's not the right man. So now, like, everything changed, and how people look at you probably also changed. So, like I said, ladies from Australia, hit me up. I will provide to Jameel.
Yeah, slide
So
into the DMs.
yeah, so probably the chance also increased dramatically. So as people will see now, that it can only have positive impact basically everywhere, like in every single environment, like whether it's relationships, whether it's work, whether it's your own personal endeavors. So I want to thank Jameel for his extremely confident and extremely accurate work. Over 15 months, it was on point, and the transformation was just world class and amazing. And I want to thank Jameel so much for his hard work. And I'm very, very proud of Jameel. And welcome to the Nikibrah Hall of Fame. 15 months of great, accurate execution. I just have to say I'm very, very proud. And this is ongoing. This is just like
Oh,
a milestone now.
begun.
But
Yeah.
I posted like our transformation picture like 2 months ago, and I could post a new one already because it already improved. So it's just crazy, It just shows how accurate work will impact everything. So I want to thank Jameel for also taking us time today from Australia. And if anyone wants the same, just like Jameel wants to say, okay, I want to make the step, I want to be in this upward spiral, I want to fix my nutrition, training, hormones, metabolism, I want to gain better energy, confidence, I want to make a change finally. They can message
Yep.
me anytime on my social media at Nikibrah, for example, on Instagram, or my page nikibrah.com, and we will get in touch, and I will help you to achieve the same as Jameel, because as you can see, it only has benefits everywhere, in every single aspect in your life, and it's really, really worth it. And yeah, thank you a lot, Jameel, for taking your time. This was Jameel from Australia, and Nikibrah at the moment from Russia. So yeah, last word to Hall of Famer Jameel.
Oh, wow. What can I say, Nikki? I couldn't thank you enough for this, mate. I really couldn't, right? Willingly doing this for you, for the way that you have helped transform my life infinitely for the better. We have just gotten started. And yeah, I couldn't even tell, wouldn't have enough time to talk about how much this has changed my life. And, I am very grateful, very thankful for your coaching, your guidance, your strength, and your influence has been fantastic. And guys, ladies too, I'm here for a reason. Hit this man up, transform your life, make shit better for yourself. It's worth every single cent. And that's it.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, brother.
Thank you. Okay, guys, this was Jameel and Nikibrah. See you in the next video. Take care.